I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, viewer mailbag here. I've got about 6 or 7 questions here. I'm going to try and do this in under 10 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. Rapid fire here. We'll see. Sometimes I ramble on and I get, into a tangent here on some things here, but let's see if we can do this. These are a bunch of questions that I've had over the last month on my blog here. A lot of times I don't have a chance to type back long entries on my blog, so hey, we'll fire them off on the video here. Question 1. Oh, and you're always talking about good stratas. Can you please name some of them? No, unfortunately I can't. I'm not going to give away all my secrets here. For sure, you guys know I often talk about the good stratas that I'm often offering on. Some of them, a couple of these stratas, every good one bedroom that gets listed, I'm involved in it pretty much. There's a building in Mount Pleasant that probably 5 or 6 good one bedrooms come up in this strata every year. I'm involved in pretty much all of them. Some of them I buy, some of them I don't. I miss out because they're usually always in bidding wars. So it's taken me 15 years to cultivate this list. I don't know every strata, but I'd like to think I know all the good ones in downtown Vancouver, Mount Pleasant, Kitsilano, Canby Corridor, Fairview. There's always new ones coming online, and there's always new ones that are older that I haven't really had a good chance to have a look at or study the documents. But I've got a database of probably about 150 stratas that I've sold in, listed in, or bought in, and I've got the depreciation reports on file, and I've got the AGMs, and I'm continuously, going into these buildings and offering on them, so I know what we're buying. But I'm not going to give that away. It's taken me a long time to cultivate that, and the thing is, I don't want the competition. If I started printing off these prime stratas, I've already got enough competition on some of these high-quality stratas. I don't want any more. Do you think the lack of rentals has to do with short-term rentals like Airbnb? No. Stay tuned for a blog on that if I already haven't posted it. It's got nothing to do with Airbnb. Airbnb, any ones you see in downtown, or most of them, are illegal. And there's not nearly as many as there used to be as far as downtown condos go. And again, the ones that are illegal. Most stratas, pretty much all the good ones, have banned Airbnb years ago. I did my first blog on Airbnb probably 7 or 8 years ago, and at that time I said it did have a bit of an effect because it was new. The stratas hadn't outlawed them yet. Now they have, and the city also you have to be licensed. So it's a total different game now. What's caused the pricing to go up for rental rates, as well as the cost for condo prices, is the NDP is a big part of it. They tax everything to death. The rental freeze for 2 years, the piddly 1.5% they give you for 2022, taxing you to death at every corner, the empty homes tax, the BC spec tax, the foreign buyers tax, which none of these things do anything. They actually have people hang on to homes longer and put less product into the market. I would also put in there probably the stress test, where you have to qualify at 2% higher than what you're actually getting. That's caused many people to not be able to move up market, go from a 1-bedroom to a 2, or from a 2-bedroom to a duplex. They can't qualify now, even though really they can, but you have to get stress test at 5.5%, which is crazy. I've said all along we should be doing 30-year fixed-term mortgages. That would get rid of the stress test. We wouldn't need it. Do you own crypto or NFTs or virtual real estate? Man, this is one I get a lot. No, I do not own any crypto. It's just not for me. I'm sorry. For some of you guys, I know you made some money on crypto, and I'm totally happy for you. I want everyone to succeed, and I love it when people make money, either on real estate or the stock market or crypto or meme stocks. It doesn't matter. But meme stocks and crypto and NFTs, they're just not for me. The thing with crypto is I don't understand it. I've tried to do a little research into it, but I've realized I just don't have the time for it. It's not something I'm interested in. I'm already rich. I'm just trying to stay rich. And, it's not something that you can analyze or put a value on with NFTs. Here it is. It's a currency. I know it's blockchain, it's crypto, but it behaves like a highly speculative equity. Very volatile. There's no balance sheets. There's no income statements. I just can't analyze it like I can with Apple or Amazon or Johnson & Johnson. The NFTs, they seem strange to me. Be careful with these. I don't know. There's lots of articles been recently in Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal talking about a lot of the scams that have been going on with this stuff. Again, I'm just not interested. The virtual real estate, maybe I'll do a blog on this one day. Wall Street Journal has had a couple of articles on it. The overall sentiment on it is it's a scam. Be careful with it, with this sandbox and these other virtual worlds, paying $10,000 for a virtual home. I don't know. It's strange. It's not for me. If it is for you, just make sure you designate a very small percentage of your overall portfolio to it. Some what we call mad money, money that you can afford to lose. Highly speculative. You might hit a home run on it, but you could strike out and go to zero. Who knows? What do you think of leasehold land? Suggestions on buying leasehold land. Well, I've done a few blogs on leasehold land. I do not recommend buying leasehold land. As a matter of fact, don't buy it. I wouldn't buy it. I do not buy leasehold land. I have not represented any clients on buying leasehold. I sell them probably a couple a year. I've got a trustee. One of my bigger clients is a trustee. I've had a sale last year in Westbrook Village out at UBC. It was a really nice unit, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, right on UBC campus. Took me what normally, if it was a normal freehold condo, would have taken me 2 to 4 weeks. Took me 7 months to sell it. Had to reduce it multiple times. You know, the thing with leasehold property people need to understand is if you should look at what the appreciation rate is on it, and most people don't have access to this. Just to give you a rough numbers here, I'm just gonna, these aren't the exact numbers, I'm just gonna throw out arbitrary numbers here. I sold this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath for, let's call it $900,000 at Westbrook Village. The seller who bought it 9 years prior at about $820,000. $820,000, held it for 9 years and sold it for $900,000 minus commissions and everything else. If this lady would have spent $820,000 and bought, say, a 2-bed in Kitsilano or Kerrisdale or somewhere on the west side or even downtown on a freehold property, she would have been up $250,000 to $300,000. But that's what leasehold land does. Because remember, when you're buying real estate, what appreciates is the dirt. When you get your tax assessments every year, it'll be broken down by structure or building and land. You'll see that the land every year, in good years, is what's appreciating. The structure is depreciating. Every year it gets older, it's worth less. Well, when you're buying leasehold land, you don't own the dirt. The dirt is actually depreciating because you don't own it. It's on a lease that's ticking down. And of course, the structure that's sitting on it is also depreciating. So you don't get a lot of appreciation on leasehold. So for that reason, save your money, save a little bit more, and buy a smaller home on freehold that you own the dirt. That's where the magic is. What city in the Lower Mainland is the best to invest in? Well, again, that depends on your budget. I've talked about this a few times before. If someone has the budget, in other words, if they want to buy an investment unit and they've got a budget of, let's say, $700K, then hey, I'd probably steer you towards buying a good quality 1-bedroom in downtown Vancouver, or maybe Mount Pleasant, Olympic Village area, or perhaps Kitsilano, but downtown. If your budget, though, is $500, then Vancouver's going to be out of the question. We're going to have to look out at New Westminster or perhaps Richmond on SkyTrain. But you can almost throw a dart at anything in the Lower Mainland and you're going to get some nice appreciation if you buy the right home. If you buy the right condo, have your realtor do the due diligence on the way in, because that's the important thing. You're buying into that strata corporation, and there's good ones and there's bad ones and ones that you don't want to get anywhere near. So you've got to know what you're buying. But I'm under the belief, I've said many times, that if you can get a foothold in the downtown core, I think you'll do very well over the next 10, 15, 20 years. For the simple reason that, unlike out in the suburbs where there are building more product out there, you go out to an area like Brentwood or Richmond, they're putting up towers everywhere. Downtown Vancouver, not much going on. There's not a lot of buildable land left. Incredibly difficult to get anything built in Vancouver. To secure the land is extremely expensive, and developers now are only building ultra luxury when they do, starting at $1,700, $1,800 a square foot up to $3,000 a square foot. So when you can buy a good quality one bed at, let's say, $11.50 to $12.50 a square foot, keep it for 10, 15, 20 years, put a tenant in there, I think you'll do well on it. Final question. Owen, is there a housing correction coming? Are we going to see a housing correction? Yes, of course we're going to have a housing correction. If you've been watching my blog for the last coming up to 11 years, you guys know that markets go up and markets go down. You know, we have had a tremendous run the last couple of years, especially in the detached market, townhomes, duplexes. Condos have done well, not as well as the detached market has, but we are at all-time peak prices right now. Now, this might continue through until the spring or even into the summer. But as we get some more interest rate hikes as we move in through the year, maybe we see some more inventory come on this spring, and the interest rate hikes. And then the thing I always throw out there is that buyer fatigue. COVID has put a lot of people into the housing market. It's probably sped up the amount of purchasers by about 50% in the COVID time, because there was nothing else to do. Let's buy a house, or let's buy my first condo, or buy an investment unit. I think that buyer fatigue always comes into play, and maybe we're getting close to that now. We're into spring 2022. As we move into the summer, let's see. But listen, don't worry about it. If you've just bought a house recently, or you're qualified and getting ready to buy now, and you've got that golden, you follow those golden rules that I've always talked about, which is you buy the home, it's your principal residence, you're going to live in it for 8 to 10 years, you can ride out any short-term volatility. You don't buy now. But if you want to try and time a market and wait for the market to come down 5 or 10%, which I don't know when that's going to happen, it might go up another 10% before it goes down 10, who knows? Interest rates are also going to be higher, so your borrowing costs will be higher. That's your call. I wouldn't time a market. But if you've got that long-term horizon, you know, buying a home now and keeping it for 10 or 15 years, you're going to do fantastic on it. But there's always a correction around the corner, especially after you've had a hot market like we have for the last couple of years here. Buyer fatigue sets in, interest rates are going up, inventory can't get any lower, it's starting to creep up slowly now. Eventually we will get probably a run-of-the-mill pullback. I've been through so many of them in the last 35 years, I've lost count. 5, 10%. Every 10 years we get something a little more severe, maybe 20%. But there's always one around the corner, but I would suggest you don't try and time a market. If you're qualified and pre-approved and the right home comes up, I'd probably pull the trigger on it, keep it, enjoy it, take advantage of these low interest rates. I'm Owen Bigland. I don't know if that was 10 minutes, probably a little more, but thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.